For my passion project and extended essay, I decided to study the 7 wonders of the world, something that I find interesting because of how far back each of the wonders was constructed and the history that surrounds each. Their many contributions to civilization, whether used for functional purposes or for simple tourism, increase the shared knowledge of ancient life, which makes us all more aware of various cultures around the world. To begin researching the 7 wonders of the world, I needed to find an official list of the wonders decided by judges. This led me to my first source, New World Encyclopedia. This website contains information about the ancient wonders of the world, a specific group of wonders, declaring them the original list of 7. Included are the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Temple of Artemis, the statue of Zeus at Olympia, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, the Colossus of Rhodes, and the Lighthouse of Alexandria. The article also describes later lists created that were considered wonders of the world, always in groups of 7. The titles of these lists are based on either the time period relevant to the architecture, such as the medieval wonders, the specific creation of the sites, such as natural, underwater, industrial, and man-made wonders, or the revised list of wonders known as the New 7 Wonders. The New World Encyclopedia provided me with detailed information on each original ancient wonder, and is a website dedicated to maintaining a trustworthy reputation with consistently accurate information while striving to contradict the ease of Wikipedia. It is also carefully edited by scholars to ensure that facts are correct. To decide exactly which groups of wonders I wanted to study most thoroughly, I had to first search for comprehensive information on each. Starting with what I had previously intended to research, I visited the Ancient History Encyclopedia to learn more about the ancient 7 wonders. This site is controlled by a non-profit company focused on creating public awareness of some of the most important events in history, and is highly recommended by Oxford University. From this source, I learned that architecture was constructed by different countries and cultures, which adds to the diversity of well-known groups of wonders. The wonders reside in Egypt, Greece, modern-day Iraq, and Turkey, and were all built before the Common Era. Because this page also contained many Greek references, I chose to look further into the role of Greece in naming the first 7 wonders. Being the earliest known awarded group of revolutionary buildings, the ancient 7 wonders were first named as themata by the Greek writers Philo, Herodotus, Callimachus, and Antipater, which I learned from the Ancient Encyclopedia. Researching these names, I came across a paper written by Mary Rebecca Rynum about teaching the 7 wonders to her class at Beloit College. Her paper is trustworthy because of the credibility she has as a college professor, as well as being published by the nonprofit academic organization JSTOR. Most of the article was a summary of the class Rynum taught, and it was clear that she had focused largely on Greek culture by giving background to Greek mythology and independence before even beginning to teach how the ancient wonders were chosen, which speaks to the vital role the Greek played in creating them. Rynum also mentioned one of the writers from the Ancient Encyclopedia, Herodotus, and that her students read his extended passages not only about Greek monuments, but also papers written by him about the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which is located in modern-day Iraq, not his home country of Greece. I concluded that Greek culture was an important part of creating the 7 wonders, and then decided to research a different group of wonders and compare influences. Another remarkable group of 7 wonders is from the medieval era. I wanted to know exactly what each monument on this list was, as it was written many years after the ancient wonders. I searched for a simple list to guide me towards more information from this era, and found a blog written by Vincent Loy. Loy first states the different architecture considered wonders of the world from the medieval ages: the Roman Colosseum, the catacombs of Qom el-Shakafa, the Great Wall of China, the Porcelain Tower of Nanjing, Hagia Sophia, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and the most well-known Stonehenge. This blog provided me with the information regarding the locations of each structure, which were again all around the world, and the time period in which each was built, which was more dispersed, as some were thought to be constructed in the BC era, like the ancient wonders, while others were built in the AD era. The blog was very useful in gaining surface-level information on the medieval 7 wonders of the world, and is a credible source due to Vincent Loy's documented experience with travel to some of these sites, as well as his master's degree and career in architecture. I decided to research more in depth the influences of choosing these 7 wonders, and looked for information relating to emotion in the Middle Ages, instead of just a specific culture like Greek influence in determining the ancient wonders. This led me to a book titled Wonder and Skepticism in the Middle Ages, written by Keegan Brewer and reviewed by Dr. Stephen J. Spencer. The review of the book was extremely insightful, and spoke about defining wonder, and how people interpreted things described as wonderful in the medieval era. There were 2 sides to this: that believing something was wonderful was a sign of weakness and unintelligence, something that should be feared, or that wonder expands human knowledge by increasing excitement and desire to find answers for things unexplained. Completely different from Greek culture paired with ancient wonders, this review discusses how big of a role wonder played in this time period, which brings into question the motive for creating an official list of 7 wonders for the medieval ages. The source is very valuable not only because of the genuine sense of emotion as a way of knowing that the book brings about, but also due to Dr. Spencer's credibility as somebody with a PhD and an employee at Queen Mary University of London, as well as his extensive resources used for the paper that specifically relate to the topic at hand. The last group of 7 wonders I chose to research was the most recently declared group, the New 7 Wonders. These were chosen in the most technologically advanced way out of all other groups, which I learned from Cabby, a non-profit website concentrated on gathering information from journals and creating credible ebooks since the 1970s. From this source, I confirmed that the revised 7 wonders of the world are the Great Wall of China, Machu Picchu, the statue of Christ the Redeemer, the Roman Colosseum, Jordan's Petra, the Mayan ruins, and the Taj Mahal. I also learned more about the voting process, how originally 200 monuments were chosen by a Swiss museum curator, and then the narrowed down list of 21 were voted on by the public. The most interesting piece of information I received was a comment from Sue Williams, a human rights activist, who stated, "It's all about different manifestation of what is considered cultural." Her quote made me more interested in public opinion of culture, so I decided to try to understand how monumental of an impact this event made on the public. To get information from a direct source, I watched a video on the declaration ceremony of the New 7 Wonders that occurred on July 7, 2007. I found this video titled Official Declaration of the New 7 Wonders of the World through YouTube, then proceeded to fact-check it on new7wonders.com, ensuring that the location, speeches, and hosts of the ceremony were accurately portrayed through the video, making it a credible source. The most notable information mentioned in the ceremony was the amount of votes cast to decide whether wonders would be recognized. Over 7 years, 100 million votes were cast all over the world, making this event one of the most inclusive decisions in history for celebrating civilization. After researching 3 different groups of 7 wonders, I decided to look into the contributions one of them made to civilization in order to get a broad idea of what each was known for. I chose Machu Picchu from the New 7 Wonders because I knew very little about it, and then proceeded to visit a website that originated in Peru, where Machu Picchu is located, to learn more. This source appears to be credible because it is run by a group from Boston University that studies Latin America and is very passionate about teaching the beauty and diversity of Peruvian culture, which translates to their dedication to maintain extremely accurate facts. What I learned from this article was not only how crucial this monument was to the natives during this time period, as it acted as a passageway for food and exotic products, but also the mystery associated with it. It remains unclear why Machu Picchu was built and why it was abandoned only 100 years later. From this source, I concluded that the mystery of what exactly inspired humans to create such magnificent architecture is what is so captivating about Machu Picchu, and perhaps the reason why it is considered one of the 7 wonders. I was interested in knowing why other wonders had been grouped together as incredible architecture from early time periods, so I looked into why the ancient and medieval wonders were picked, as well as what criteria played a part in choosing the New 7 Wonders. First, I came across a website simply titled Wonders of the World that focused on the New 7 Wonders because they were all compared and chosen in the 21st century, which helped the inclusive approach of different cultures being involved in pitching their ideas, but also made the process more difficult because the entire world came together to share their opinions on ancient architecture. The main idea of the article was providing readers with the specific criteria for what was considered a wonder, such as the complexity of building something so monumental in a time with little resources, or the intention of the building. This source is credible because it is written by a computer scientist who claims to receive all his information from studies made by researchers, and who writes with the intention of providing readers with a source that is far more in-depth than other websites. My final source looked into the criteria for deciding which monuments became 7 wonders in more ancient times. I found an article written by Jonah Lendering, an author who contributes to the credibility of this source due to his extensive knowledge on ancient history that he taught at many different universities and shared with readers through his published journals. This piece of writing states that because more ancient wonders were chosen so long ago, that the original list of them often gets lost in translation and makes it difficult to distinguish why the most widely known list was created. That being said, Lendering does make it clear that the Greek who chose the original 7 wonders took into account the regal properties of each monument, stating that the 7 wonders were splendid buildings worthy of emulation. I realized that this contradicts the reasons the new Seven Wonders were chosen, for their useful structures and architectural beauty. All of my research helped narrow down my broad interest in the Seven Wonders of the world to examining why exactly they are considered so magnificent and what contributions they make to civilization. My final research question is, how did criteria for determining what ancient monuments are wonders of the world change through the past eras?